Overwatch Season 14, the Hazard season. Guys, I already read through this patch because on the main channel, I did the patch comparison video. I haven't played it, so I'm not going to overreact, but my initial thoughts on this patch are that it's not good. Like, why? Some of these changes are just like a big question mark. In retrospect, I'm sure when I play it through, it's not as like big of a deal. Most of these things are unnoticeable, or like the average player won't feel it, but it's just like, there's no need to touch this aspect of a hero. I understand part of balancing is looking at the back end stats, but if the public perception is like the hero is fine, then I don't think you need to necessarily touch it, if that makes sense. Just let everybody live in blissful, what do you call it, ignorance, because then you just upset people. Season 14 Hazard, Scottish tank, and then you want to test, they're just basically talking about the release, and then we want to test the unique blend of past and present in the 6v6 role queue event where teamwork and synergy shine with the 2-2-2 setup. Then you have the mythic Thor Reinhardt for the battle pass this season. Also, for this battle pass, I will say the mythic Rein Thor skin actually bangs really nice. But on the actual like quantity of skins, Rein didn't need another skin. I'm saying objectively, the skin looks fire. Why Rein? There's so many other tanks that, like, you know, it's too late. The art is made, it looks nice, but like, other heroes need some love, in my opinion. Rein gets every freaking collab skin, too. All Optimus Prime and all this fun stuff. Packed with nostalgia, Season 14 is everything you need. So Winter Wonderland is the first thing from now to January 7th. You can do all the classics like May, Snowball Offensive, Freeze Thaw, complete challenges, and get the Winter Casual Hanzo skin. Exactly, like Venture needs some love and all these other heroes. Okay, 6v6 Role Queue is the next thing coming out, where strategy meets nostalgia. Dive into the dynamics of it for the classic team format. So this is going to be modern 6v6. I am certain they have to have a separate balance patch for this mode. They don't give you the date, but in the blog article, they gave us the date. It's next week, Tuesday, December 17th, modern 6v6, Hazard, and hopefully modern balance patch for this entire thing. I think initial thoughts is Hazard plays like an off tank more than a main tank, and he'll actually play very well in this mode. This is actually what I'm much more excited about than anything else. So this one, hopefully everyone will have a good time. Hero Mastery for Ashe arrives on January 14th, so 1 month from now. Now let's get into the meat and potatoes of this patch. Damage roll passive is getting buffed. Okay, the DPS passive debuff duration increased from 2 to 3 seconds, and the healing reductions increased from 20% to 25%. My goodness. So anytime like a tracer tickles somebody, they have a healing reduction for a much longer period of time. Okay, first of all, that's one of the things where I'm like, why? I thought DPS was in a pretty good spot recently. Next thing is they're actually nerfing the global projectile size bonus. So all the hit scan radiuses and projectile radiuses will be nerfed. This is a Hanzo nerf. Big projectiles, or sorry, I think large projectiles would be like Pharah and like Junkrat. They're getting an indirect nerf here. And then like Widows and hit scans won't be as good. This also affects supports as well, like BAP, like Alari and stuff. It affects everyone, but it mostly affects DPSs, which I guess because they're nerfing this, they're compensating with the damage roll passive. I'm not a fan of always having to, when you turn one knob down, you have to turn the other knob up. Like, why can't we just turn one knob and see how that goes? Because I feel like they always do this thing where like, if we nerf one thing, we should compensate by like buffing a different aspect. Sometimes it's fine to just turn one knob down. That's it. The devs say that this is they're increasing the potency of the damage roll passive to make the threat of sustained damage more meaningful, blah, 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 blah. And at the same time, they're decreasing the amount of often people hit stuff. All right, now actual patch notes, Doomfist. Doomfist getting a nerf on Seismic Slam and the cooldown increase from 6 to 6.5 meters. Now this, Doom will be fine, but this is like a question mark play, because like I think Doom was already fine before this. This doesn't like, I don't think he needs this. Like if you want to nerf one part of Seismic, maybe like the range, but like I think cooldown nerfs actually feel the worst on a hero like this that's reliant on cooldown cycling. I know he got buffed in the last patch with Rocket Punch being better, but that's what I mean. They just tuned one thing and then they feel like they have to compensate with another. Unless, of course, Blizzard outright says Doom was the most overperforming tank, then I can justify it. But I feel like he's kind of in the middle right now. He's pretty good, but like he's not like, to me, he never felt like an outlier. Maybe he was a huge problem in low elo, is he? All right, now I bring it to you guys in the chat and people watching this video. Was Doom a problem for people, let's say Platinum and below? He's not a problem in low elo. Didn't feel like it, right? No, if you're bad, every game has an Ana. He either runs lobbies or feeds, right? That's what I mean. He's always a feast or famine. Obviously, if a person's very proficient on the hero and cycling, then like he will feel more oppressive than like normal. But that goes for any high skill kill cap hero. Like a really good ball, a really good Doom will feel like really strong. It doesn't mean you need to like nerf every aspect of it. In any case, this is one of those like Hazard. Like listen, when I played that playtest, I knew Hazard was gonna be so ass. Train put the thumbnail of my initial thoughts of Hazard, and I was like, this guy's kind of bad. And I think I was right, because evidently Blizzard looked at their data in the back end, and then they're like, they looked at it in the back end, and then they probably saw that his performance was terrible, and then they're like, yeah, let's give all this compensatory buffs and stuff like that. So anyways, Hazard, he's getting major buffs to his primary fire. That's actually a big one. The projectile in the center is actually a really good consistency thing, because like if you guys play Roadhog, you know how his like pellets in the center are like always centered there, and the shrapnel, like consistency on the spread is actually a really big buff. This is good because this is actually what he shoots mostly in the neutral. Obviously when he like goes and does his whole combo, it's pretty lethal if they're out of position, but this is actually like the biggest buff in my opinion. Spike guard, actually angle of protection being increased to 180 degrees is actually a really big buff too. DPS 75 to 70 is pretty negligible, but it hits as bigger, wider angle, which means it'll probably hit more people around us as well. Violent leap, so this is a nerf, right? Post slash recovery time for primary fire and quick melee is increased from 0.3 to 0.5 seconds. That means you have to wait more time between cycling your next follow-up primary fire or your follow-up quick melee, which is interesting because I feel like that's part of his like good combo. His cool combo was to like leap in and then do like a primary fire into melee. But if they increase the recovery time, I feel like that's like the fun part of him. I'm not sure why they went with this direction. Maybe there's something I don't know. Maybe there is a way to still pull off the combo. I actually haven't booted up the practice range to see how this feels yet, technically, but yeah. Jagged wall, this is a fine buff. The wall actually broke really easily because people were able to focus fire it. The problem when you play against Maze is that like everybody shoots a different part of the freaking pillars. There's 4 or 5 pillars on the May, I think it's 4, and everybody shoots the wrong one, so then the wall ends up staying alive. But if it's a single wall for Hazard, everybody has the instinct to blast the wall, and I think it was going down really fast. So this is fine. Damage going up is fine, but the time to get re-ticked on the wall is actually going down a little bit, but like most people don't stand there and take multiple hits on it anyways. Okay, downpour. So I actually misinterpreted this in the main video. I thought this was airborne momentum lost by casting downpour reduced from 90 to 50. I thought this was like when you get spiked down a little bit, but apparently this is like if you cast the ultimate mid-air, you retain some of your momentum. So that's a buff. And then Vault being able to trigger a little bit earlier than normal, being able to wall climb up and down is going to be kind of nice on shorter walls and stuff like that. So Vault getting a buff there. Mauga, this is a nerf. This is fine. Reducing armor by 50, base health plus 50. Honestly, I know they like write this out, but can we not use if roll queue is the main mode, can we not use HP pools for non-roll queue? Because like this just looks confusing to me. This is just a notation thing. This is not for you guys, but like 200 and 375, 575 HP is this non-roll queue HP because he gets plus 150 in roll queue, and it just like looks weird. Or just write it out like lose minus 50 armor plus 50 base health or something. That's how I notate it in my main channel videos. Orisa, same thing, but like reverse, actually getting a buff where armor is going up 25, base health going down 25, but the Terra Surge pull going up from 8.5 to 10. The actual damage itself isn't changed, but this pull is insane. I don't know if you guys know this, but the pull, you can pull people from high ground. It's actually kind of insane. 575 is his roll queue. He's at, no, that's wrong. He's at 700. He's 725. 575 is his non-roll queue. Mauga's a 700 HP hero. There's no way he's 575. Next, Ramatra. Ravenous Vortex buffs. This is actually a crazy buff, by the way. This actually makes his ability really good. I actually thought this ability is already pretty solid. Or wait, let me give my thoughts on Orisa first. I don't think it's going to be an Orisa meta still. This is an interesting buff for her, but I actually think like when you look down the list, I think Winston and Ram are actually criminally underrated right now with these buffs as well. Bringing down Mauga's power level because he was meta at the end of season 13. Orisa is definitely very playable, especially into the Ram and stuff like that. But like, I think Winston might be back on the menu, boys, which is good. Ram, though, this buff is crazy good because it now interrupts horizontal momentum when first affecting a target. So it's a bit of stronger, and it ignores barriers for line of sight. Slowing field, ignoring barriers for line of sight is crazy, crazy strong. Really good against Winston Bubble, really good against the Reinhardt, all that fun stuff. I think Ram gets like a big underrated, this helps him in the Sig matchup, the Ryan matchup, the Winston matchup. This is very good. Very, very good. Winston, buff to jump pack, also very good. Like, this is one of those, like, why did they need to buff him? I thought Winston was already fine. Like, I don't know why they decided to do this, but hey, you know, I think Winston mains will take it. People who like Winston and like dive are going to have a good time here. Ashe. This one's interesting. Coach Gun can now be activated while affected by mobility locking abilities, but it won't move Ashe. So if you're in a Junkrat steel trap, previously you wouldn't be able to use your Coach Gun at all, but now even if you're in a trap, you can use it. You just won't be able to escape the trap, but at least you can use it to knock enemies away while in it. Now, apparently this was already in the game. This is just now notated correctly for season 14, but when we tested this last season, in season 13, it was already implemented at some point. Don't know when, but they're just notating it now, so it's already been here for a bit. Maybe the Ashe mains already knew this. Pharah, cooldown increased from 8 to 9 seconds. I didn't actually think Pharah was like, that's like, she's fine, but I didn't think they needed to nerf her. I'm sure this is like not that big of a deal, but like after they nerfed her HP from 250 to 225 back in the day when she was like really, really good, what was it, season 9? I thought she was fine, but this may be like a console specific nerf because Pharah may still be running lobbies unless you have a Zimmer hit scan on your team. Probably still stomps low elo. Sojourn. Now this is also like the biggest question mark buff of all time for me. Because Sojourn, I thought after they changed it where the disruptor shot built rail charge and all that stuff, I actually thought Sojourn was in a pretty decent spot. They wanted to remove the burst damage and lethality from rail, so they nerfed it to 100 base damage, but made it so you get the rail high more frequently. I thought that was a pretty fair compensation, and Sojourn even got some play in OWCS in that state. So now they're buffing the damage by 20% on the railgun. 120 rail is actually insane. Like it used to be obviously at a different, what did it used to be? 130, which meant the headshot did 250. I can't remember what the number used to be, or maybe it was this number. But in any case, like why? Oh, okay, it was 130. Why are we bringing this back up? I don't care if she's underperforming in your average elo. Sojourn was actually already solid once again without the oppression of the like, you know, the one-shot rail just owning people. The fact that like you built it and the uptime of it was better was already a pretty good like direction they were heading. I was happy with that, but like what the heck? This makes this a Sojourn meta. I think this buff like beats every other DPS buff here. It used to be 130 with 1.5x. So 120 with 1.5x puts it at 180. Let's say she's Mercy boosted. What does that put it at? I need some mathers in here. I'm already losing track, man. There's so many changes that they go back and forth. Mercy's damage boost was nerfed, right? Was it 25%? It used to be 30 for the longest time, but I feel like I remember them nerfing it at some point. Mercy boost is back at 1.3, or maybe it never went down to 1.25 and I'm just going crazy. This indirectly brings the Mercy Sojourn back. If you guys played early Overwatch 2 in season 1, season 2, season 3, the Sojourn meta with Mercy was kind of crazy. And now Sojourn's full rail with Mercy boost is 234. And there's a good amount of heroes that got their HP pool nerfed to 225 now. So you can one-shot those heroes again. Who are the very common 225 heroes? Juno, Lucio, Pharah, Echo. Echo's got played a lot in OWCS. Kiriko. So this makes the breakpoint change here is absolutely the biggest exclamation mark here. Moira, I'm not happy with this one. This one's like the biggest, yeah. Okay, anyways. So you gotta hit the rails, and I know they nerfed the projectile size a little bit, so sure. But like high elo is gonna be a Sojourn problem, in my opinion. Soldier 76, biotic field reduced from 18 to 15 seconds. I mean, that's fine. Soldier's probably the worst hit scan in high elo because of like, everybody's HP pool went up in season 9 to 250. Soldier's like a consistent small kind of hero. And armor changes back then when it went to 10 was kind of very rough for him. It went down to 5. Now it's still 7, which means like Soldier's kind of in like a low C tier in my opinion for hit scans. I mean, this is fine. Doesn't really change too much though. Symmetra, base shield health increase on the TP. I mean, this is a nothing burger. Do people really destroy the teleporter that often? More often than not, if she puts on a TP, people are able to use it in time before it actually gets blown up. So this is a whatever buff that does nothing really. Torbjorn, interesting that they're actually buffing the turret. This is also a big question mark. This is like, why, bro? As a sim OTP, this is like, okay, exactly, right? It doesn't change anything, right? Arcadium, like you feel it's whatever. It doesn't actually like, this is not meaningful. Now this Torbjorn one is a bigger one. Like, why is the deploy turret faster and why is it like harder to break now? Like, did he need this? This makes no sense to me. Hammer going up from 55 to 70 is for the meme because obviously like everybody's HP pool went up in season 9 and people want the hammer kills for funsies. This doesn't actually change them on average, but makes it for the funnier meme plays. But competitive balance speaking, this is whatever. This is like a big question mark. Does not need this buff. The whole direction of them, what was it, last year, where they want to take power away from the turret and add more power to his Cheetos, his gun, because people were annoyed at how cheesy it was to put down a turret and have it carry like 6v5 for all the games. So why are we backtracking here and buffing the turret of all things? Was it ever even a problem for the turret? No. This one's a good buff though. Venture Nation, rise up. We're getting some skins, aren't we? Haha. Venture Nation cooldown rate is now faster anytime burrow is active rather than requiring the player to be underground. So if you're like burrowing from high ground to low ground and there's a bit of travel time, your cooldown, your cooldowns go faster when you're burrowed. So now like anytime you're like maneuvering between terrain, you'll get faster cycling of your cooldown. This is actually a pretty, they say this is a quality of life change, but this is beyond QOL. This is like a raw buff. I looked, when I did the comparison, I'm like, dude, all my cooldowns come back like so much faster. This is a big buff. Big buff. Actually, Venture kind of needed it though. It's nice. This one feels fine. Now this one's another question mark change. Baptiste. I'm a Baptiste main. I play a ton of Baptiste. He did not need this. I don't care what the stats say if he's underperforming. He did not need this. Like what? Regen burst cooldown decrease from 15 to 14. Radius increase from 10 to 12. He doesn't need this. Like I'm not gonna bitch because I play the hero. Like he got the micro buff with the laser projectile a couple seasons ago where like he has no recoil. And then now his regen burst is even stronger. This is not even a hard ability to hit. You just click the button and it's just like, it's more forgiving because it's bigger and it's on a shorter cooldown. Didn't need this. I thought BAP was already really good. And I like, you know me, I'm incredibly biased. I play the damn hero and I'm just telling you, you did not need that. Brig didn't, actually Brig was kind of like really good. Inspire duration reduced from 5 to 4. If you have pretty good Inspire uptime, it should actually be up enough to like overlap, but this will certainly hurt in those occasional like whip shot, and then you get the Inspire, but you can't get another whip shot yet for like what, 4 or 5 seconds to keep the constant Inspire, especially if you're not free swinging. If it's like during the neutral or the poke where you got nothing to hit, it's a pretty decent nerf. I actually think this is okay. I think Brig was already really good, so, I mean, yeah. Illari buff, where the explosion radius goes up from 8 to 10. I mean, it's whatever. Illari's not even getting that much playtime right now. Sure. Lucio, this is welcomed because Juno was really good. So instead of nerfing Juno once again, which they have nerfed her like 3 or 4 times consistently, they're compensating with like bringing the other speed hero back up to line where the crossfade self-penalty healing goes down. So he can heal himself a bit more, sustain himself a bit more. And the sound barrier going faster while in midair. No longer, if you Ajax after December 10th, 2024, absolute skill issue. I looked at this in the practice range. This shit's actually so much faster right now. This is like double the speed. So this is nice. This is nice. So actually one thing I want to comment was Juno. Obviously Juno was like really good for the past 2 seasons and they've nerfed her like 3 straight times. I actually think she's at a reasonable level. Near the end of last season, I played a lot more Kiriko, a lot more Ana, just simply because the Juno ultimate wasn't as strong anymore. They nerfed the healing and it took 10% longer to build, which was actually really noticeable for me. The uptime on the ultimate was a lot lower. Obviously the healing range has the fall off range cut a lot from the last season's nerfs, and they're bringing Lucio's power level up. They brought Kiri's power level up. They brought the other ones to compensate. I think Juno's still really good, like A tier, but like this definitely helps the viability of playing anything but Juno, which is nice. A big question mark on some of these changes. I'm sure a lot of them will not be the biggest one. The biggest outlier to me out of all the ones listed, definitely Sojourn. That's probably the biggest meta shaking one, and then everybody's gonna build around this. This indirectly gives Mercy more playtime. Other heroes, other supports a bit more viable. Oh, one more thing here on this patch was that Lifeweaver had an indirect nerf or bug. I'm not sure how you can interpret it, but it was discovered on the internet by somebody. Basically right now you can't curve the heal anymore. So previously when you Lifeweaver flick healed, you can curve the heal orb like over shield and like under the map or whatever to get around stuff. I thought that was always a really nice part of Lifeweaver, but you can't do that anymore. Maybe a bug. Maybe not. And the second part of Lifeweaver is that the hack and EMP now affects friendly pedal platform. That's definitely a bug because your friendly EMP and hack should not affect your own pedal platform. So that one's definitely something that they need to fix. Okay, so that's 2 things with Lifeweaver. A couple of bug fixes. Ooh, custom game modes. You can actually turn off passive health regen for the custom gamers. Couple of bug fixes I'm not going to really go into, but Reinhardt fixed an issue where Rein's Earth Shatter ability was not affecting enemy heroes on certain floor sections. If anybody saw those viral clips on, what was it, Samoa, where like the carpet blocked the Earth Shatter and some other areas, that's been fixed, or Dorado as well. But I had my team test this earlier and one of them is still in the game. We'll report this one. It is the King's Row one. You are still able to dodge Shatter accidentally. Train, you can play your own damn clip. Shout out yourself. My editor actually is the one who I think figure that this one specifically on King's Row out. This is the bug that's still in the game apparently.
Spot on King's Row can block abilities. Just like how Samoa has multiple carpets that can block as well. There we go. Okay, yep, it is on this side too. Does that mean it works over here too then? I'm interested now to try this. Oh my god, it does. King's Row has this spot on 3rd point, and I found it by accident. Oh, he has Shatter, by the way. Wait.
How did you not get... What?
After some testing, this metal sheet can block Reinhardt's Earth Shatter, Venture's Tectonic Shock, Doomfist Seismic Slam, okay, yep, and even Mauga's Overrun. Yeah, wait, it doesn't get affected by Mauga's either. Even though this spot can prevent the person on it from getting hit, anyone behind them can still get affected. However, one way around this is if the enemy were to jump while on the spot, they can and will be hit.
So the King's Row spot not fixed yet. I think the other ones are though. I think that's it for the patch. Once again, the TLDR is question mark on some of these changes. Like why?